What's going down, everybody? It's your boy, that guy, my high, tuning back in front of the reaction. This time we got a ship from the Bermuda Triangle reappearing after 90 years. You dig what I'm saying? Yes, I said it, after 90 years. Before we jump into that, we got to give a praise to all the members that have been rocking with us, all the new members, because we do got some new members. Shout out to all you new members. You know who you are. You know what I'm saying? We're about to shout it. Token Tug, Casey Girl, Aaron, Taylor, Mama Dukes, Misty Summers, Lynn Willow, Driver Thoughts, Mad Creeker, Lynn, Ryan Parks, Amy Jane Doe, Liz, Nugget, My Hood Life, and Gary Willis. Appreciate you guys for doing what you do, being a part of the My High Mafia as members. And if you guys want a little shout out and you want to get some praise from your boy My High, go ahead and hit that join button down below. Got 3 different options to choose from the high member, the really high member, to the highest member, $2.99, $4.99, $9.99. You dig what I'm saying? And if none of that works for you, just hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification, help us get that 100K, because we're trying to get a plaque, baby. We're trying to hit 100K. And do what you gotta do, because that's free 99 day. Free 99. Who don't like free 99? Anyways, let's go. It's early, and we're about to get this day started. So let's go.
The story of what we call the Bermuda Triangle actually began in the 1960s, when the name was first used to describe an area the shape of a triangle in the Atlantic Ocean off the coast of Florida. Buzz began long before that. Throughout the
Bro, I never knew that was like the Bermuda Triangle was legitimately like referring to like a triangle. I just thought it was just kind of like an area that we just kind of like assumed, or not assumed, but just named the Bermuda Triangle. I guess I never really looked into it. Like, why do they call it the Bermuda Triangle? Like, I just knew it was the area where everything was happening, like weird stuff, ships disappearing, helicopters and not helicopters, but full on planes disappearing and whatnot. Like, yeah, I didn't realize that there was like an actual geometric reason to why it was called the Bermuda Triangle. Anyways, let's move on.
It's been discussed in thousands of popular movies, books, and documentaries. But why all the fuss?
Shout out to the Supreme.
The average person has no idea that magnetic north is moving. Why should they? Can't see it. We don't feel it.
They say it's cursed. So much so, in fact, this area has also been referred to as the Devil's Triangle. But why all the attention?
Is it?
You're about to find out. 15 things you need to know about the Bermuda Triangle.
All right. Yeah, because I definitely, like, is the Bermuda Triangle, like, is that like, I don't know, like, I just feel like maybe that's like where the world began, right? Like, what if that's where all the answers we've been trying to fucking get are hiding, are right there? Like, all of the the ifs, ands, the whats, the buts, the whys, the hows, the what ifs, all that. What if it's all just in the Bermuda Triangle? What if all of the secrets are there? I'm just saying, you never know.
Number 15, forgotten shipwreck. SS Cotopaxi was a bulk carrier. The ship was launched in 1918. However, she and the crew vanished in December of 1925. And ever since, the mystery of the Cotopaxi has been one of the more famous Bermuda Triangle tales, even though its only appearances since then have been fictional. But a ghost ship story spread across the internet almost a century later with headlines like Bermuda Triangle, ship reappears 90 years after going missing. Multiple stories claim this ghost ship was the SS Cotopaxi that went missing while traveling from Charleston in the U.S. to Havana, Cuba, with 3,800 tons of coal and 32 passengers. The disappearance contributed to the enduring myth of the Bermuda Triangle, blamed for dozens of disappearances. But the ship had been, it turns out, hiding in plain sight the whole time. The wreck was discovered in the 1980s, but not identified until 2020. The ship was found 35 miles off St. Augustine in Florida. A team of divers identified the ship and debunked the fictions, theories, and conspiracies that emerged over the years. Turns out, the wreck isn't even located within the boundaries of the Bermuda Triangle. You want to know a little?
Ain't that some shit? I was just about to say that. Like, how is it so close to to Florida if it was supposed to be in the Bermuda Triangle? And yeah, unless this is like some Captain Black or Jack Sparrow's ship with the Black Pearl, just doing his thing, floating and shit. Like, yeah, that's
That's not even near the Bermuda Triangle. Subscribe,
a little bit.
Click the notification bell. You'll have superpowers for the rest of your life. So what are you waiting for? Time to fly. Number 14, not on any map. The Bermuda Triangle is a mysterious part of the world. The region, also called Devil's Triangle, is somewhat loosely defined, but it's a popular shipping lane that also sees many ships and aircraft. So maybe the disappearance of 75 planes and hundreds of ships isn't even so unusual statistically. Nonetheless, the Bermuda Triangle persists in the popular imagination as an enigmatic location.
Okay. So that's the Bermuda Triangle. It's really that close to. So there's Bermuda, Miami, and then was that Puerto Rico? So that's okay. So that's what makes up the. I didn't even know what honestly made up like where it was located. I just knew it was in the Atlantic Ocean. I guess I didn't realize that the Bermuda Triangle was legitimately like right off of Florida. So I guess that other plane or that boat could have been a part of it. I mean, granted, they confirmed like it wasn't even found within the Bermuda Triangle, but still, the fact is like. Why is it so, like, I didn't realize it, like, anyways, let's go.
No real map of it since the U.S. government goes out of its way to indicate it doesn't buy into the myths. In general, authorities believe that anything remotely strange can be blamed on the combined forces of nature and human fallibility. The area has been defined as having origins in Miami, San Juan, and Puerto Rico, and Bermuda. The total size of the region has varied based on who's been writing about it. From 500,000 to 1,500,000 square miles. Obviously, such a fluctuation in size would affect how many disasters you think happen there. Plus, authorities don't recognize the Bermuda Triangle as an official name and don't maintain an official file on the area. There are no official maps, and take it a step further, the Coast Guard collects and publishes accounts of incidents that refute these mysteries. Number 13.
Interesting. So my whole life has been a lie. You know what I'm saying? The Bermuda Triangle ain't even something that we even should be carrying. Even should. God, it's so goddamn early. The Bermuda Triangle is nothing that we should even be worried about or caring. It's something we should even care about like at all. Like the government don't even worry about it. They ain't worried about it. Like we got files on everything. Aliens included. You know what I'm saying? Like we all know they just released a whole bunch of more alien files and documents and shit. Aliens is here. But the Bermuda Triangle, you trying to tell me that ain't even piquing interest? Well shit. All right, well goddamn, I ain't scared no more either.
During the 1940s and 50s, the US Navy's need for a deep water test facility became apparent. As a result of the extensive studies, they established the Atlantic Undersea Test and Evaluation Center to provide a deep water test and evaluation facility for making underwater acoustic measurements, testing sonar, and providing accurate underwater surface and air tracking data on ships and weapons. Since then, it's been dubbed the Underwater Area 51. This base is strategically positioned in the middle of the Bahamas, aka the Bermuda Triangle.
Area 51.
Conspiracy theorists claim there have been severe strange reports of UFO activity surrounding the base. Widely unsubstantiated reports include claims of aliens working with Navy personnel in their deep underwater base in one of the deepest trenches in the ocean. The most bizarre rumors include time travel experiments at that base as well. The location is situated right next to an area called the Tongue of the Ocean. This is a U-shaped trench with a flat bottom, measuring 20 miles by 150 miles. The complex is believed to include laboratories, workshops, and other advanced equipment and technologies used by the U.S. Navy's fleet. Number 12,
I wouldn't.
SS Faro.
I'm just saying, like, I'm not about to sit here and be like, oh yeah, they've got underwater Atlantis and all these underwater bases. But I'm not gonna say that they don't. I mean, I'm just saying, I'm just saying the ocean is very vast. We do have the capabilities of going really deep, if not to the bottoms of the oceans. So, and I was just saying that the aliens is real. I'm just saying. What the last little part where that might have, there might be an underground base under the pyramid. Just saying.
SS Faro was a United States cargo ship. She was lost at sea with her entire crew of 33 in 2015.
Damn.
After steaming into the eye wall of Hurricane Joaquin, Faro departed Jacksonville, Florida,
that would be
for
the
San Juan, Puerto
shit.
Rico.
I think that would be more scary than like flowing through the Bermuda Triangle, like actually sailing right into a goddamn hurricane. Like that would be fucking terrifying, bro. Like to see them massive ass waves and shit, because there ain't nothing in the ocean to break them waves up. If they get to going, I mean, you player.
Then Tropical
Shit.
Storm Joaquin was several hundred miles to the east. 2 days later, after the storm had become a Category 3 hurricane, the vessel likely encountered swells of 20 to 40
See?
foot and winds over 92 miles per hour
Could you
as she
imagine?
sailed near the storm's
See, a
eye.
20-foot
The ship
wave?
had taken on water and was listing 15 degrees. The last report from the captain, however, indicated that the crew had contained the flooding. But shortly after that, El Faro ceased all communications with the shore. The 40-year-old ship was declared missing, and an extensive search operation was launched. Searchers recovered debris and a damaged lifeboat and spotted, but could not recover, an unidentifiable body.
Dang.
El Faro was declared sunk shortly after. The Navy sent a crew to conduct an underwater search for the vessel and found wreckage consistent with the cargo ship in an upright position and in one piece. The next day, the Navy announced a submersible had returned images that identified the wreck as the SS El Faro. Number
Damn.
11. Deepest.
That shit would be like, that would be scary, bro. Like, if there's any way to go, like, I would not want to do it in the middle of the ocean. You know what I'm saying? Like, that does not sound, that doesn't sound fun at all. Like, that just sounds miserable. That sounds terrifying. That sounds awful.
In the ocean. The Puerto Rico Trench is located on the boundary between the Caribbean Sea and the Atlantic Ocean. The Oceanic Trench is the deepest in the Atlantic. It's 497 miles long and has a maximum depth of 27,480 feet, or 5.2 miles.
Damn.
The exact point was identified using a state-of-the-art multi-beam sonar in 2018, and then directly visited, and its depth was verified by the manned submersible. The Ocean Trench is a geologically complex site. The Caribbean and North American tectonic plates are scraping by each other, making a huge transform fault that extends from the Puerto Rico Trench to the coast of Central America.
Damn.
The Caribbean plate is shifting east, while the North American plate is shifting west. In 2002 and 2003,
So
the
they're
National
pulling-
Oceanic and
pulling away
Atmospheric
from each other?
Administration
Or-
conducted a major research study of the Puerto Rico Trench. Scientific studies have concluded that an earthquake occurring along this fault zone could generate a significant tsunami. In fact, the island of Puerto Rico, which lies immediately to the south of the fault line and the trench, suffered a destructive tsunami soon after the 1918 San Fermin earthquake. Number
Damn.
10. Cookie cutter sharks. The cookie cutter shark is a parasite, meaning it feeds off larger animals without killing them, and they aren't remotely afraid of animals that are significantly bigger and deadlier. Several species, including bluefin
it's like
tuna,
a- it's like a
great white
parasite, ain't
sharks,
it? Is that what you just
spinner
said?
dolphins, and even orca have been observed with one or more scars caused by these sharks. It uses its sharp, pointed upper teeth to latch on and its thick, strong triangular lower teeth to scoop out a mouth-sized chunk of flesh. To feed, the shark uses its suctorial lips to suction itself
That's
onto prey.
wild.
Once it's attached, the cookie cutter spins its body, using the row of serrated teeth on its lower jaw to remove a plug of flesh, leaving behind a crater-like wound. There's been one confirmed case where an individual bit a person. The person was an athlete, swimming a very long distance between islands in Hawaii, at night, surrounded by boats with lights that attracted prey. That swimmer was bitten on the calf, leaving a gruesome scar, but otherwise not causing permanent damage. This species is small and lives much of its life in the deep water. Therefore, it's difficult to study. But it's been collected or observed in many places around the world, most significantly in tropical waters like the Bermuda Triangle. Number 9.
See,
The original
there's
Atlantis.
always some new reasons and new shit to not to make me be like, yeah, I don't want to go in the water. Like, I'm supposed to be in Jamaica in a few months, like in October. I'm supposed to go swimming and shit in the oceans. And you telling me that there's motherfucking little sharks with serrated teeth that just come up and just take little chunks of little plugs of meat and just dip out? Like, what?
Many people think that the mythological city Atlantis was a real continent located off the Bahamas that had fallen victim to the notorious Bermuda Triangle. Supporters of this theory point to the discovery of what looks like man-made walls and streets found in this notorious mystery region. Another theory claims Atlantis was indeed fictional, but the story of its demise was inspired by an actual historical event
think
around
Atlantis might have
5600
been
BC.
something real.
At this point, who knows? Although it's generally considered to be a naturally occurring geological feature, some claim there are remains of an ancient road called Bimini Road.
The only reason why I think that it's possible that there really is like some sort of Atlantis is because we know for sure that at one point, all of the land masses, all the continents were one. You know what I'm saying? Like, what do they call it? Pangea or whatever they called it. And then, over time and the plates moving and all that nonsense, we now have our 7 different continents or whatever. But yeah, so I think that it's very possible. Like, I mean, we already are facing the problem with here in the United States where Florida and California seem to both be kind of falling off and, going underwater. Just saying. So, I mean, is it impossible for a whole city to just be engulfed in water? No, I don't think that's an impossible thing at all. Shit, we've seen it in, some like Louisiana, for whatever reason is a state that majority of it is underwater or under sea level. Why we decided as humans that it was a great idea to build cities under sea level or below sea level beats the shit out of me. I don't know, but we've done it multiple times because we've rebuilt New Orleans, I feel like 2 or 3 times at this point. So yeah, I'm just saying it's not impossible for us to, or for them to. I think it's not impossible for the idea that back in the day there was some great, Atlantis, if for just lack of a better word, and it got engulfed by the oceans. I don't see that being an impossible thing. I think it's very, very possible. We just haven't found it yet, unless we just found the road.
Atlantis.
But I'm just saying,
the idea
I
that
do
the
think that
lost
it's
city
very possible
Atlantis
for
was
it
an
to happen.
actual historical place and not just a legend invented by the Greek philosopher Plato didn't surface until the late 19th century. Plato describes Atlantis as an island nation located in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, populated by a noble and powerful race over 11,000 years ago. The people of this land possessed great wealth because of the natural resources found throughout their island. The island was a hub for trade and commerce. Could it be the civilization of the lost city of Atlantis here in the Bermuda Triangle?
Like I said, I definitely think that that's possible.
Flight 19. On December 5th, 1945, 5 U.S. Navy torpedo bombers, known as Flight 19, took off from their Florida base on a routine training mission. But soon after, some of the pilots reported that their compasses weren't working and navigation was almost impossible as stormy weather rolled in. In one of the last radio messages received, one flight commander reported, "Nothing seems right. We don't know where we are." And sure enough, within hours, all 14 airmen in these planes were lost, as were all 13 crew members of the flying boat that subsequently launched to search for Flight 19. The disappearance of these planes was the aviation event that cemented the curse of the Bermuda Triangle in the minds of many. An investigation found that it's got dark outside and the weather changed. The lieutenant navigated the planes to the wrong location.
Field or
Plus,
something in that
most
area?
of the pilots involved in the incident were trainees. And what about the planes? The aircraft were notorious for sinking in less than a minute when they were forced to make a sea landing. And once aircraft sink in a vast ocean, they're often never found. In the end, the lieutenant and the crew were not held responsible. Their compasses stopped working over the Bermuda Triangle, and it spiraled out of control shortly after.
Well,
Number 7.
How? Of course they're not. It wasn't their fault. How are you going to sit here and blame some people that you can't even find? You can't find them, they planes, the boat that went to go find them. Like, how you going to blame anybody at that point? Yeah, shit.
USS Cyclops.
Freak accident.
In 1918, the USS Cyclops disappeared on a voyage between the West Indies to Baltimore.
The Cyclops.
Last
That's
known
a
message
weird
from the
boat
ship
name, I
said
feel
simply, "Weather fair, all well." But something went awry.
See,
and
that's why that one sank, because it was the Cyclops. The motherfucker had one eye. See, maybe if he had 2 eyes, he would have been able to see better in the goddamn sea.
from the ship was ever seen or heard again, vanishing without even an
Just a
SOS. But
It's
at
very sad,
550
but
feet
just
long,
saying maybe
how
he
is
had
it
2 eyes.
possible that the biggest ship in the U.S. Navy vanished without a trace? Some believe the Bermuda Triangle curse is to blame. She'd been sailing successfully since 1910, traveling between the Baltic Sea, the Caribbean, and Mexico. But in 1917, Cyclops became a key naval asset, transporting troops and coal to fuel other ships all over the world. However, before it disappeared, the ship was given a new cargo, tons and tons of dense manganese ore used in steel making. But
so it
Cyclops
sank.
never arrived in Baltimore, and no wreckage of the ship has ever been found. While some suggest that the combination of the overloaded condition, engine trouble, and bad weather may have conspired to sink Cyclops, the logbook showed the cargo ship was suffering from engine failure and was also not used to carrying such heavy loads. An extensive naval investigation
Where was
concluded
the captain?
that many theories have been advanced but none that
The captain didn't put a stop to that. Be like, hey, bro, we cannot take this. We are overloaded. We got engine problems. And if you want to load it, cool. Well, we ain't moving until the engine is fixed. Like, isn't that the captain's job? What the fuck?
factually account for her disappearance. Number 6, Electro Fog. This has to be one of the most bizarre tales of the infamous curse of the Bermuda Triangle. A pilot is believed to have encountered a rare yet completely natural phenomenon during a routine flight from the Bahamas to Florida. Only moments after taking off, the pilot and crew found themselves enveloped in a strange and powerful fog charged with electricity. An unexplainable tunnel of electrified clouds formed around them and apparently seemed to chase the plane. Strangely, at the same time, the plane suddenly traveled significantly further than was even possible according to the pilot's calculations. The plane had traveled 99 miles in under 3 minutes, which means it's been flying at 1,800 miles per hour in a plane with a top speed of about 185 miles per hour. Impossible, to say the least. And other planes that disappeared into the
you 10 times your speed because of this electric cloud and shit.
Triangle suffered similar conditions. So, did the Electro Fog create some sort of warp in time and space?
Yeah.
Some experts think so. The ionized air of the highly electric atmosphere can apparently create phenomenal surges that in theory could propel the plane. And with the compass being unresponsive, the plane engulfed in fog, this pilot and his passengers were literally carried through an alleged time warp. Number 5.
That would be
bad
wild.
bubbles.
So would you be younger?
Could big bubbles be to
Older.
blame for the Bermuda Triangle's curse? The explosive release of gases in Siberia trapped in the permafrost, known as methane hydrates, likely carved out enormous sinkholes in that region. But now, researchers are suggesting that these bad bubbles could be responsible for the disappearances of ships and aircraft in the Bermuda Triangle. Yet other scientists say it doesn't explain these disappearances because the Bermuda Triangle is a place that's never been proven to exist. But sailors have witnessed boiling seas in it. Could this natural methane phenomenon be responsible for this strange occurrence? The idea that methane released from the seafloor could sink ships holds some water, scientists say. Methane is normally solid under the crushing pressures of the deep sea, but chunks of the ice-like substance can break off and form gas bubbles that rise to the surface. And ships certainly could sink suddenly if the water beneath them turned to foam, which these craters, measuring up hundreds of feet deep and just as wide, could be capable of doing. But such large-scale methane releases have not been reported in recent history. Number 4, island in the middle of nowhere. This mysterious island is off the tip of Cape Point in Buxton, North Carolina. It's 1 mile long and more than 400 feet wide. The problem is the island wasn't even here not long ago. Some theories suggest...
See what I'm saying? This is like goes back to the Atlantis thing. Like, just as islands can appear, I feel like islands can disappear. We know this.
The hexagonal clouds that create 170 mile per hour wind bombs are to blame. Apparently, these bombs are powerful enough to flip over ships, cause planes to fall from the sky, and create new beaches. And that's why the deep questions surrounding this area in the North Atlantic Ocean have only gotten deeper due to its sporadically appearing out of nowhere. But according to reports, the island has appeared because of a consistent weather pattern. A mild winter in the region combined with a rotating high-pressure weather system created the island, essentially a massive sandbar. And experts believe that if this pattern continues, the island could actually attach itself to the mainland. But don't assume this new island is all that safe to visit. Sharks up to 5 feet long and stingrays as large as the hood of a truck have been spotted prowling beneath the surface around the new beach. Because of the dangers, officials have warned people try not to get into it, either by walking or swimming across the strong current between the mainland and the island. Number 3, magnetic mystery. The magnetic field that surrounds and protects the Earth from harmful solar flares is shifting, and it could explain the disappearances in the Bermuda Triangle. The magnetic makeup of the area causes compasses to go haywire. The seas reportedly cause compasses to point up to the true north, rather than the magnetic north. We'll explain. It's been claimed that the Bermuda Triangle is one place on Earth at which a magnetic compass doesn't always work properly. The seas here reportedly lie above an imaginary line where true north and magnetic north are in perfect alignment. Astronomer Edmund Halley noted that this invisible line was slowly moving westward, causing magnetic declination. Over much of the Earth's surface, compass needles point roughly north. However, because of the complex shape of the Earth's magnetic field, there are few places where a compass needle will point exactly north. So, if Halley's goofy magnet theory is correct, this explains how so many ships and planes vanish. The difference in direction may seem small, but the results can be catastrophic. So this evidence suggests that lost boats and planes are due to human error and not taking into account the faulty compass readings. Number 2, crystal pyramids. For years now, pilots and sailors have feared the Bermuda Triangle for good reason. After everything we've seen and heard about strange disappearances here, who wouldn't? But their fears may be justified after this unusual finding at the bottom of this treacherous region, a report of a huge crystal pyramid under the sea. Its age, origin, and purpose are completely unknown, and according to reports, it's almost 1,000 feet wide, and just as tall. The pyramid was apparently found at a depth of about 5,000 feet and was claimed to be 3 times bigger than the Great Pyramids of Egypt. They suspected the giants were made of crystal-like substances as well. Could it be responsible for swirling vortexes near the surface, which could be sucking planes and ships downwards? Alien conspiracy theorists believe so. Others think that the Crystal Pyramid is connected to the disappearance of Atlantis and even the biblical story of Noah's Ark. But there's just one issue that believers fail to grasp. The scientists who discovered these formations don't even exist. However, scientists actually think they're made.
Wait, what? Hold on. I was really captivated by that story until he said the scientists that discovered this structure don't exist. What do you mean they don't exist? How did we know this then? How did it...
A rational explanation after the researchers found a series of craters on the seabed, and they believe these strange formations were created by bubbles of methane popping under the seabed. Number 1, rogue waves. Many tales have been told about the Bermuda Triangle, especially the mysterious vanishings. Some say aliens abducted the humans traveling through it. Others say the geomagnetic storms interrupted navigational systems, causing planes and boats to vanish. But many people think there has to be more to the story, perhaps something a little more logical. New life has been breathed into one such theory, that these vessels could have easily been overcome by giant and unexpected waves. They're called rogue waves. These waves are steep and tall, like walls of water, and they often hit unexpectedly. According to ocean experts, these conditions hold true in the Bermuda Triangle, where massive storms can come from all directions, like Mexico, the equator, and farther east in the Atlantic. According to the National Ocean and Atmospheric Administration, the waves are more than twice the size of surrounding waves, are very unpredictable, and often come unexpectedly from various directions. Occasionally, they can coincide at the right moment and create a rogue wave that can be over 100 feet high. But scientists throughout the years have pointed out that the risks of traveling through the Bermuda Triangle are no different than any other area in the ocean. Hopefully, after seeing these videos, you're able to make a level-headed decision as to whether you'll fly over or sail the dreaded Bermuda Triangle, or just skip it altogether. Either way, chances are very good you have nothing to worry about.
Thanks for the reassurance. Yeah, I mean, that was a very interesting list because there was some very logical explanations, and then there was some just like outlandish ones where you're just like, what? You said what? So yeah, y'all let me know what y'all thought about that down in the comments below. What was the ones that made the most sense to you, and what was the ones that made the least sense? Like, what was, most logic, least logic? Let's just start there. And yeah, let's talk about it. Catch y'all on the next one. Peace.